I grew up pretty rough when I was younger. And, I didn't come from a place of privilege. Granted, I'm, sitting pretty now and life is pretty good, but it wasn't always like that. I was an at-risk youth. I was that guy running around in the streets and stuff, literally and figuratively. And I was a lot younger. I was pretty wild. I mean, I'm still kind of wild, but I'm a little bit more tame these days. I'm a little bit more careful, but nonetheless, there's a certain code on the street. There's certain things that you just can't do to another person when you're out and about in rougher parts of your town. For example, I can't go up to someone and tell them what to do. That's like a declaration of war. Like that's basically that's a flex sort of. That's a fucking challenge. So if I tell someone to do something and they do it, that makes them a bitch, and that also makes me a punk. It's a punk ass move. You can't be doing that. So usually what happens is if I try to tell someone what to do, and they obviously are like, whatever, bro, fuck you, and then I get my ass beat or I get attacked. Those are the rules. That's how it generally works out. So this article, somebody posted this in my Discord, and I was just laughing my ass off. It was so goddamn funny. And then of course I was really happy to see Matt Christensen end up posting this article, and it was just hilarious just to see Blonde laughing. And Matt had this hilarious smirk on his face the whole time, and I have my own take on this. So let's just go ahead and read through this, and then I'm going to get to what I truly believe here, what's really transpiring. So, disabled Marine veteran brutally beaten after confronting two men for not wearing masks. I curled up in the fetal position, and I was just ready to die. They kept berating me with expletives, calling me a snowflake. And it's not science, it's a hoax, the Trumpers said. The Dolan Blurmp voters said. All right, so the disabled Marine veteran said he was brutally beaten for confronting two men for not wearing masks in a Washington state grocery store, Cairo TV reported. So Daniel Troublefield, 43, told the station that the conversation became heated in the Ocean Shores IGA Sunday night, but nothing physical happened until after he walked outside and the men began hollering at him. They kept berating me with expletives, calling me a snowflake, and it's not science, it's a hoax, Troublefield recalled to Cairo. Rather blurry surveillance video from a neighboring drugstore shows him walking to his white car and then walking past it as the maskless men taunted him. He told the station, "To my regret, I walked up to the car," Troublefield told Cairo. "I was trying to explain it it is science, and you should be wearing a mask because you're endangering me and everyone else in the store by not having a mask on." He admitted to the station that he wished he had ignored them because things heated up even more. The gentleman tapped on my chest, and I flipped up his hat, and that's when they both got out of the car, Troublefield told Cairo. He added to the station that one grabbed me by the neck in a chokehold and got me down to the ground, and before I knew it, I had a boner. No, I'm kidding. I was getting my face pummeled with fists. Troublefield also told Cairo, "I curled up in the fetal position, and I was just ready to die." The beating lasted about 20 seconds before the men took off, the station reported. Well, you see, 20 seconds is it's not enough, man. These people need more than 20 seconds, if you know what I mean. So what happened next? Troublefield said he never threw one punch and even passed out. Yeah, that's what would happen if you're a punk. Cairo reported, adding that his nose is fractured, he needed stitches, and that he has bruises on his face and body. Good. But Ocean Shores police told the station that while the investigation is ongoing, they don't know whether the incident was an assault or self-defense. Ooh. I don't feel the police are doing enough, Troublefield told Cairo. "I'm in the dark right now about everything." He noted to the station that he's concerned the men will get away with the incident and that he won't get justice. "I like to see the two men locked up in jail. I'd like them for them to pay for what they did," Troublefield noted to Cairo. "I don't think any human being deserves to be treated like I was treated." Anything else? Troublefield told the station the incident was the first time he's ever confronted anyone for not wearing a mask, and that he was compelled because he and his wife have pre-existing conditions. But he added to Cairo that it will be the last time he'll ever say anything about mask wearing. Well, wouldn't that's not surprising at all. That's not surprising at all. Good. He learned his fucking lesson. You don't just go up to people and tell them what to do like a fucking punk, dude. That's just not how the streets work. You know, the cops aren't going to do shit. The streets ended up punishing this punk and dishing out justice as it should have been. He appears to have been the instigator. He appears to have been the one to do a motion that would suggest that you're challenging these guys into a fight. Here's my take on this though: the individuals that ended up beating his ass, I believe, are not white. What race they are, I don't know. I'll leave that up to you to decide. And that's not. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. But there is a group of people in America, there's a certain demographic in America that does not put up with this bullshit. Now, we've seen throughout history, or throughout this year at least, patterns of certain people who will fuck you up if you tell them to wear a fucking mask. Some, of course, traditional conservative types, they'll just say, "Oh, fuck you, I'm not wearing a mask, my liberty, give me freedom or give me death." They'll get memed on Twitter, and it won't be that funny because the left can't meme. But if you go up to somebody who is more of the Black Lives Matter activist variety, they'll beat your ass. Of course, I have this other article pulled up right over here. A woman shoved to the ground, breaks leg in wild mask fight in New Jersey. Staples police. And here we go. So right here in this corner, here, right there, right where my mouse is, look at this shit. All right, so this old lady, they grab her and boom, they throw that bitch on the ground. Over a fucking mask. Over a goddamn mask. Okay, so this happened in a Staples. So yeah, here we go. The boom just drags that bitch to the ground. And it's just like, look, I've denounced violence consistently on this platform, on my channel. And I totally reject violence. I don't celebrate violence. I don't promote violence. It's just not who I am. This is a channel for everybody. But, the streets are the streets. And while I'm not really a part of that subculture anymore, or really spend too much time down there. I mean, I used to go downtown with the hipsters and shit. And even then, the rules applied. You just can't go up to a person and not act like a fucking punk. You're going to get your ass beat. So while I reject violence, you act like a fucking punk, you act like a fool, you're going to get dropped. You're going to get fucking learned a lesson. And these people, they ended up getting taught a very valuable lesson. You don't talk shit to people and tell them what to do against their own will. I applaud these individuals that were involved. And I think it's very telling in these articles. They omit what the perpetrators of the crimes look like. Well, not this woman in New Jersey Staples store, but the other one. They omitted what the individuals look like. So if a serious crime took place, a hate crime took place, and see what what the veteran, this fucking pussy vet, was trying to do is he was trying to frame it like these evil MAGA hat wearing douchebags attacked him. These anti-science, gravy drinking hillbilly motherfuckers were just like, oh, well, you're a pussy because you wear a mask. So we're just going to beat your ass up because you're trying to, teach us science and shit. You're trying to put a fucking science equation in our lap and make us solve it and shit. So we had to like defend ourselves from learning. No, I mean, that's not that. That's the impression that the veteran wants to give us, but it's abundantly clear to me that the people that he was having this confrontation with were they probably weren't conservatives, they probably weren't white, and they were just not going to be putting up with this shit. And you got to also keep in mind, this whole year has been rough for the overwhelming majority of Americans. People are their fuses are, very, very short, and it doesn't take much to set it off. and blow up on someone. And you know, and I don't think it's fair that a lot of these small businesses are now basically you know, the enforcers of the pandemic edicts. They're the enforcers of all of these draconian measures, these pandemic measures. And they're these, you know, minimum wage type people, you know, people who don't get paid enough to do this shit. They're dealing with the blowback of telling people what to do. And then of course CNN and all the usual suspects in the legacy media are, you know, pushing out all this, you know, pro-mask propaganda, basically making little warriors out of these stupid progressive liberal types, these cucks like this idiot veteran in Oceanside. You know, and then they feel compelled to walk up to people and tell them what to do, and they're gonna get their asses beat. The CNN is endangering people's lives by pushing this mask, this pro-mask rhetoric, this radical mask agenda, and you know, stuff like this is gonna make me laugh. And I think the more of this occurs, the better we're all going to be. And I hope you know, like, I just hope people get into the faces of like these Black Lives Matter types and try to force them to put on masks and shit and make their lives miserable just so these BLM people can fight back and get away with it. And, you know, basically just scare people into just never fucking with anybody else again. It's just like, you know, and it's also really funny on that note. You also have these leftists, right? They're always like, just let these groups of people live their lives in peace. Just leave them alone. But they're not able to extend that courtesy to anybody who is not wearing a mask or anybody who shares a different opinion. It's really funny how that works. These people are just disgusting hypocrites all around. And you know, I hope, I don't promote it, I'm not advocating for it, but I hope, I mean, I'm gonna cross my fingers and petition the universe for more of these types of ass kickings in public. I think it's in order.
In a video game, whatever, hypothetically, politically.
And I think it's necessary to restore balance to things. Because right now, all the wimps of society, all the cucks of society, they seem to be having you know, quite an impact on everybody else's lives. All these mask narcs, they deserve a genuine, serious ass whooping.
In a video game, whatever, hypothetically, politically.
And yeah, I don't make any apologies for that statement. Peace out.